Late in the last century, Black Elk, an Indian leader, prophesied it would take 5 generations for the body of Indian people to walk forward as a whole, a united nation. We are that 5th generation.
Good afternoon, and welcome to the 5th Generation. If you recall, on an earlier program, I mentioned to you that we'd be bringing to you the award-winning film entitled In the Spirit of Our Forefathers. Well, today we're going to do just that. But first, these messages.
Thousands of years, the land held all the promise the Indian people needed to live. The sun was a promise of warmth. The water, a promise to quench thirst. The land and the buffalo, a promise to feed us and our children. In 1876, the promises of the land were replaced by the promises of the Queen. 121,000 square miles of traditional homeland was secured by Canada. My people and their way of life were driven into transition. In 1976, we come to Onion Lake Reserve, Beardies, and Mistawasis. We come in a thoughtful way to reaffirm the treaty, to discuss and rediscover the purposes of our forefathers. At Onion Lake, a small camp set apart from the other tents is where spiritual matters are discussed and daily guidance sought from the Creator. Five years before Treaty 6 came about, Chiefs Wikaskuksaino, Kihiwan, Omachis, and Kiskayo felt the winds of change blow cold over their land. They traveled to meet W.J. Christie, chief factor of the Hudson's Bay Company, to speak of their concerns. Disease and starvation were eroding their people. The buffalo and many fur-bearing animals were becoming scarce. Now, settlers and traders came to their country like an overflowing river in spring. Message followed message between the Indian people and the government in Ottawa until it was decided that in 1876, Lieutenant Governor Morse, in the name of the Crown, would meet the chiefs at Fort Carlton and Fort Pitt. 100 years ago, the government chose the place and the time of our meeting. Today, we ask the government people to come and join us on Indian land and share our observation of the treaty. It is written down that Alexander Morris was deeply impressed when he visited Beardy's camp in 1876 and saw how seriously and with what great ceremony the leaders were to meet him. I am glad to see the sons and the grandsons of 100 years ago today meet the Queen's people with the same dignity their fathers did then. The lead man in the procession carries the 100-year-old pipe stem used to greet Alexander Morris a century ago. When Morris shook hands with us, he shook hands with our culture, our Indianism. The strongest thing our forefathers had to meet Morris with was their honesty.
The first presentation made by Chief Justice Emmett Hall will be to Chief David Ahenecue, Chief of the Federation of Saskatchewan Indians. If he'd step forward, please. The second presentation is to the one band of the Treaty 6 area that's in Manitoba. It's the Matthias Colomb Band, and the chief is Chief Pascal Heddy. There are also 7 counselors with the Matthias Colomb Band, and they will each receive a bronze medallion. The next presentation is to Chief Roderick Okamal, who has 4 counselors.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have asked my brother chiefs to let me say a few words on this occasion. I would like to speak for a few moments about the situation in which I and the members of my band find themselves in 1976, 100 years after the signing of Treaty 6. My band once numbered 872 people. Today, there are 48 of us. We are scattered throughout this province on different reserves, in cities, and living under conditions which civilized people would not tolerate. My band is without a home. We are squatters on the reserves where we live, without a voice in the councils of those reserves, without land, without pride of place or possession, without future for the generations of our people who may survive. There is a litany of broken promises which has followed us through the years. You offer respect, flags, and medals. It is meaningless and empty for me and my people. Men have come again from the Queen. I ask these men here today if they will honor the treaty signed by Chief Luckyman 97 years ago. Will my people have a home, honor, and a future? We, who have no home, ask in the name and the spirit of Treaty 6 that this treaty now be honored and our rights granted. It is with profound regret that I cannot, in the name of my people, accept your presentation to me today. It is only with tongue and speech that I can ask, after 97 years, that the treaty which we honor today be honored by your government, and the people and children of the Papawe Band receive the reserve they were promised so long ago. I thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
The voices of the present speak with the same clarity as they did in the past. While most of the chiefs were in accord with the original proceedings, The sincere voice of dissent was not to be stilled. Chief Mstaimasquat said this 100 years ago. I find it difficult to express myself because some of the bands are not represented. There were plenty of things left undone, and it does not look well to leave them so.
Let this moment not be lost or abused in our struggle to be what we are. Let us stand up and be strong. Let us put our hearts and minds together with those of our white brothers and keep this treaty. Let us remember and thank such great men as the Takakope, Mr. Wasis, Poundmaker, Little Pine, Lucky Man, Sweetgrass, Thunderchild, Beardies, James Smith, and many, many others for their foresight in making this day possible for us as Indians. Let us hope and pray that the spirits of our forefathers will always be with us. In the coming days of this commemoration, a number of young Indian athletes will be competing in the Centennial Summer Games. I feel particularly strongly that these young people should be given the spirit of this occasion in our history by the elders and leaders who are present. I would hope that in these next few days of young and old sharing this occasion in their respective ways, that they will come together and talk about purpose in reaffirming Treaty Number 6. You, the elders and leaders, have the responsibility to teach our youth in this way. You, the young people, have the burden of learning, understanding, and accepting the responsibilities that our forefathers created for us, by which you are bound to the Great Spirit to continue. This challenge I give you.
Listen to me. You don't listen to your mothers and your fathers. You don't care. You think your own mind is good. You think what you're going to do. Go ahead and do. That's your business. It's not your business. As long as we're here, as long as we're alive, me, as long as I'm alive, it's going to hurt me. And I got to keep fighting with you to try and keep you on the right track. I don't know what the right track is because I don't like many of the things that are over there. I'm not trying to lead you over there. Now I have to run to these old people. We have to come here. We have to listen to them. We are what they are. We're Indian people. We have to listen to them. This is why I want you to understand that this trip was not something for you to come and enjoy yourself with and have a good time and be chased around by cops and stuff like that. No, that's not what I want. If you see other people doing it, that's what we're trying to stop. We want to be the people to change things. I've been doing it for a long time to try and change things. Many of the things that I do, I get blocked off. People beat me up and put me in jail because what I want to do. Now I don't want to be like that. That's why I have come here, for us to listen to these old people.
And this woman that's taking you on your trip, she's thinking about a lot of you people. Thinking about you for the use of your life. The life that you can lead into a better life. You should honor this woman for she's working hard, trying to help you out. We're not getting into trouble and trying to show you the way the life should be. Your own life. I myself went to school, but my dad had put me to school and was a little too late. Past my age. And then he said after that, when I went out of school, didn't take too much schooling, just a little while in school. After I went out of school, I went back to my parents. I went back to my Indian life. And this is where I've learned to be an Indian. This is where I'm sitting as old as you.
He says there was this body. And he says, that needed someone. And I guess I was the one that was placed in that body. So this body is beautiful. When I received this body, it was beautiful. He says, when I leave this body, I hope I leave it beautiful. He says, when you see that spruce, when it's first born, that's beautiful. And that spruce is beautiful. When that spruce stands up, meets you, he meets you with dignity. Because he's led the life the way he was placed here. And he says every one of us was placed here the same way. We received this body beautiful. We should leave it, this body with dignity.
This young fella you're about to shake hands with is the fella that's been brought up by the elders here. He knows, he's handled pipe and he's sitting close to the old people. He's been taught how to do it. He's learning that. He's really close to the old people, handling pipe and street dress and all that. And he's a young fella, just like you people. He wants his tradition. You can see his hair, braids, and he can talk English just as good as you people. But he wants to be an Indian. Job of quiet, you'll never have no problem. No trouble, no nothing. With his parents all the time. Go around his parents all the time. Listens very closely.
When we come together as Indians to speak our own language and follow our traditions, it is one way that we can show our wholeness as a people. The sports and competitions of these centennial games are a chance to test our skills in a way that leaves all men and women greater for taking part.
Right behind him. Well, the family history from Onion Lake coming in second. Elliot and Noel Stanley second. Henry and Indian. And Ron Ironchild. Ron Ironchild is taking the lead. That's Ron Ironchild up there behind. Angus McDonald right behind him. And there are the sixth place finishers. And John Kennedy is coming in seventh, just out of the money.
That's what you call Jacob.
Men came from the Queen in 1876 to exchange Indian homeland for reserves, education, medicine, and other treaty promises. The rights won for us were the best our far-seeing ancestors could negotiate 100 years ago. These rights by themselves may not be enough in today's world, but with our unique status as Indians preserved, we will face the next 100 years together and in strength, in the spirit of our forefathers.
That's all the time we have for this week, folks. I'm sure glad you could be with us. Until next week, I'm Laurie LaValle. Have a nice day.